Dr. Jazz.
Thanks for finding the time, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Uh, I wanted to ask you, like, I listened to this week to Fun One, and I saw you were on the road with Dave and Brian.
Yeah.
Are you guys brewing something new, or were you just playing kind of this standards repertoire?
Well, the tour was just playing stuff from all my records. So we
Okay.
played actually Fun One, and we played some other tunes that from my all my records. I'm slowly working on an organ trio. Um, I'm not working on I'm collecting material, you know what I mean? So whenever I have enough material for that, I'll record, but I don't know when that will be because I got a couple other projects that I've been kind of working on, you know?
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it's I love the Fun One. How did you? I mean, it's like I think the first one on Crisscross, right?
Yeah.
How did that connection happen with Crisscross and
Um,
like those musicians? I mean, I don't know if you ever played with Clarence before or Dave and
no,
these guys.
we've been doing this band for many years. We used to do it at a 55 bar.
Really?
And it was,
Oh,
yeah, many years. A lot of times Jeff Dane Watts used to play, and it was either Jeff or Clarence. And we've done it a lot. We've done it for years. I
really?
just
Oh,
I just never recorded a record like that. And then I guess a year or two ago, I just told David, I was like, hey, we should record this. And he was like, yeah, let me talk to the guy at Crisscross. And that's what happened.
mm. Yeah, it's
You
fun.
know?
It's interesting, like because mostly people know you from. I mean, you did that record with Ugona and Ray actually, which is standards as well, but mostly they know you for funk and kind of
Yeah, I
more
know.
smoothie
Yeah, like
stuff. And
more
yeah,
groove oriented, like electric stuff. Yeah.
and I was so surprised when I heard those records. I was like, man, he can play jazz like hell, man. Like
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, I've been doing it forever. Like I always done it. I just never recorded. The only thing I recorded was that record Riverside. That was
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
coming out of the pandemic. It was a project with me and the drummer and the bass player. But that was the first time that I recorded standards or recorded like anything that's kind of more acoustic.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that band that with the Crisscross record. I've been doing that band for many years.
Hmm,
I
interesting.
just never recorded it
Oh,
till
it's
now.
beautiful. So beautiful. Also to hear you, play kind of clean without effects also and stuff. It's really nice.
Yeah, I was kind of debating about the sound that I got to go, what kind of sound to go for, and I eventually I kind of grabbed I went for the cleaner stuff because of those records. They have a certain sound. The Crisscross records. I didn't push it. I didn't want to push it too hard. I don't know if I've done the right thing, but it's recorded.
No, no, I think it's cool. I mean, it's so nice that people see and hear this other side of you, which
Yeah.
is so good and
It's
strong.
not.
Yeah,
It's not another side of me. It's
it's you.
always.
Yeah, it's you.
It's
Yeah,
always been there. I never not did it.
yeah, yeah. But did you when you started to play? I mean, how you play Giant Steps like a beautiful rendition. You don't
Yeah.
go crazy because most people would play like 360 just to show the
Yeah. I
chops.
do it as a ballad. Yeah.
I love that, man. But you do the Donnelly and anthropology and all this stuff. Like, how did you get into? Were these players like Coltrane and Parker important for you in the beginning? Were entering
Yeah.
jazz or?
I'm a jazz player. I started. When I grew up. I grew up on the Beatles, but as soon as I started playing a little more seriously, I started studying jazz, and I always played jazz and rock and funk and all that. I always played everything together, but I've done tons of jazz gigs when I was growing up. I had a hollow body guitar.
Oh,
I
really?
was,
Oh man,
I was a Wes Montgomery clone. I was playing like Wes with a thumb.
seriously.
I've done it all my life. That's kind of that's what I used to do, but I always did the other stuff, the electric stuff, you know what I mean? So it was always that and studio work and rock and all that stuff. So I somehow had the ability to do both at the time, you know.
Mm. And who are the rock guys that got you inspired? I mean,
What's that?
who are the rock guys that got you inspired? Like, I guess Hendrix or
Everybody.
Jeff Beck and
Yeah, of course.
the usual
Well, I
suspects.
grew up in the 80s, so when I grew up in the 80s, there was a lot of shred stuff. So,
Oh
you
shit,
know,
yeah.
Steve Vai, Satriani, Paul Gilbert, I don't know, Greg Howe, all those guys.
Yeah.
On one hand, I was listening to those guys. On the other hand, I was listening to Charlie Parker and Wes Montgomery. It was kind of pretty out.
The perfect combo, man. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
yeah. When does I mean, when I listen to you now, I think you have your sound. I mean, already the last, especially with the effects and like, when does this love for the effects come and making your own sound? I mean, how did you develop that through time?
Well, it was a necessity. You know what I mean? Like, what happened was I was never like heavily into effects, but what happened is I started to play in New York with the trio, which I still do. And then I started to write original music, and then the Line 6 green delay pedal came out. So that was a game changer for everybody because you had all these different delays, and then you had a reverse delay, and you had a looper, you know? So once that came out, I started to mess around with that. I was like, okay, that can give another dimension to the music. And then once I got 2 of them or 3 of them, I can really do a lot of stuff, you know? So that was kind of, that started it all. And everything else just happened through gigs, you know what I mean? Like you play gigs, you started to use different choruses or different tremolos, and it's just like you write the music and just like you kind of fit like certain sounds into the compositions, you know?
Yeah. Do intentionally choose the sound like really for each
No,
composition or
it just got developed like that. But
yeah.
I would say that a couple of songs I wrote because of a certain sound. Like I remember the first time I got my hands on an Octavia, I was so blown away by it that then I wrote the riff for Ha. You know, it just
Oh, yeah, sure.
you know, I mean, stuff like that happened. You know, you play a nice delay, suddenly you end up writing a ballad or something. You know what I mean? So stuff like that inspire. It gets me inspired. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of the stuff just happened from playing live all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I did this talk once with Scott Henderson, and for the latest album, he said like he spends hours finding effect sounds, you know, like for a bridge of a song. Like
I know he's very extreme, but he's extreme in the other way. He does it at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned New York before. I wanted to ask you, how come you decided, I mean, in a way, stupid question, but also not, you know, deciding to go to New York, and how was it like for you in the beginning when you moved mid-90s? Like, who were the first connections you made? And
Well, I moved to New York because I always like, you know, I wanted to play jazz, and a lot of the stuff that I like was in New York, you know, in terms of it was either jazz or like Hiram Bullock or Will Lee, all those guys, you know what I mean? It's a lot of the music. And also a bunch of my friends came here a couple of years before I did, and they started to do really well. So I was like, okay, I guess that's a good place to start. So I already had, the thing is, I already had friends here, you know, good friends. So it was an easier transition, let's put it like that. But when I moved here, the scene was the same and different, but you know, like in terms of like finding, like for example, I was looking for blues and funk and stuff, and I didn't find that here at all. Like actually, I was very disappointed. It was like, but when I went to Smalls Jazz Club at the time, you can go to Smalls and see like Brad Meldau and like Bill Stewart and like Joshua Redman and then Brian Blade and people like that, Larry Goldings, Pete Bernstein, Kurt Rosenwinkel. They were just kind of arriving, you know. So when I went there and I saw them, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
So that was the thing that really blew my brain. And then that's really New York, And then the other stuff came later, like not later, but I had to kind of find the other stuff, like the groove-oriented stuff,
Yeah.
Like, I discovered Wayne Krantz and people like that, and Hiram was still around and playing, so that was always cool. So that was kind of the situation then,
Yeah.
Stern was playing every week still in
Yeah.
the 55 bar, so it was you could see a lot of stuff,
Mm. Yeah. People tell me, like, I mean, the 90s must have been crazy. Like you mentioned all these guys, and the elders were still there, from Elvin to
Yeah,
Andre
the
to
80s was even better.
Yeah.
I came in the middle. I came in the mid '90s, so I came to the end of it when it was just started to end. But I still captured some of it,
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you start making gigs? I mean, I know when I look at your albums, the rhythm sections are killing always. And I listened to Oz live today, and there's Keith and Reggie on it, like monster players.
Yeah.
Like, how did you start playing gigs as a band leader, and when does this come into play for you?
Well, what happened is before I moved to New York, I started to this trio that I developed in New York. I started actually in Israel, and I started because I was doing a lot of jazz gigs playing guitar, just jazz guitar, and then at some point it stopped. So I wanted to keep playing. So I went to this bar and I told the guy, "Hey man, if I do like more of a blues thing, would that work?" And he gave me a gig. So I started to kind of develop my thing in Israel. And then when I moved to New York, I just thought that if I would do the same thing, just get a trio and play, I'll call people to play with me. I'll meet people, and also people will notice me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the idea. It wasn't a great idea because once you play in solo, like you're the band leader, it actually does the opposite effect. People kind of think that you're a solo artist and they don't call you. So it was kind of I always had to fight for that,
Mm.
Yeah. But that's how it started. And then you just start to play with people and you meet more and more people, and then it just happens,
How did you contact like these guys that I mentioned, like Keith and Reggie and Willie or
Yeah, well,
James?
Keith moved to New York exactly the same time as I did.
Okay.
So we started to play together this jam session at the bitter end. That's how we met. So we became friends right away, and then I started to call him to play. Reggie, I met shortly after somehow. I started playing with him. James Genus was the same thing, not long after. Anton Fig was the first guy that was introduced to me that was like a class A player. Like there was a club called La Barbette, and I went to play there one time to jam, and the guy at the club liked me, so he gave me a gig there, which was unheard of. So he went like, "Oh yeah, I'll introduce you to Anton Fig." So that's how I started to play with Anton Fig. And then Will came later. Will came a couple of years later when I did that live album, the Oz live album.
Yeah.
Will started to hear in town like that there's a guy playing, with Genus and Anton, So then he started to sniff around and goes like, "Oh, who's that guy?" So then one day I remember I was at the club and he saw me. He goes like, "Hey, call me to play." I was like, "Okay." And 25 years later, here we are. Thousands of gigs after.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Like,
we probably did like 1,000 gigs together, if not more.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Well, did the band leading committee, was that easy for you? Or even now, like if you look back, starting.
What? Band leading, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's so much responsibility.
Because I had no choice, so I don't know.
Okay.
Can't tell. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
For good or for bad. There's really good things about it, and there's really not good things about it. So it's not for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What about the writing aspect? I mean, you've written a lot of music, and you mentioned it was the effect thing, but then there's like Chillin' and Sit Tight and all those tunes. Like, what's your process when writing usually?
Well, at the time, what it was is I was writing for records,
Oh yeah.
making a record. So basically, if I knew that I was supposed to make a record, then I had a certain kind of concept for the album, and then I write for that. But I was always collecting ideas. So whenever I had to write, I would listen to my ideas and see what I got, and then start developing it. But it was always related to recording, you know?
That's smart, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the first couple of tunes I wrote was I just wrote because I had I had a trio. I wanted to play some originals, you know. But once I started recording, it was always about that. It still is, you know.
Do you collect like daily snippets or ideas? Like
I don't
when you
know,
practice
daily.
or like you write it down or
Yeah, yeah. I usually record it somewhere,
yeah, okay.
write it down. Yeah, I don't know if daily. I'm lucky if it's daily, but whenever something cool comes up, I just do it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you practice nowadays, by the way? I mean,
What is what?
what's your practice routine when you have time, or what do
I
you
don't have
practice
a
now?
practice routine because I don't have time.
Yeah, yeah, the usual. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, what are the plans for Europe? I mean, do you have any plans of coming to Europe soon, or
Um,
touring wise, or what are the plans for tours this year or next year? Or...
well, this year was a little kind of broken up because I had something I fell through. So I did play Ronnie Scott's,
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
I'm doing a couple other things in the fall, but I didn't do I did something earlier in the year, but I think next year I'll do another European tour. I don't, probably in the spring. That's usually when I do it,
Mm, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's gotten quite harder. I mean, that's my idea after COVID. It's
Yeah,
really hard to get gigs in Europe nowadays. I mean, it's
yeah,
like pre-COVID was so much easier, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Cool, man. Yeah, we were short.
Oh, that's it. Good.
Yeah.